Hi farm friends, my name's Georgia from Grow My Goodness here in the beautiful Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. And today we are going to try to regenerate the microbiology in our soil by making some forest tea. Let's go! So I've just come up into the bush off the path a wee bit and had a look at the soil. It's not really what we're looking for. It's a bit clayey and there's quite a few rocks in it. So there's another location. We are going to head to that now and check that out. So we are here at our second location and we have found a place and we are just surrounded in dense native bush here, which is exactly what we're looking for. The forest floor is really covered in a layer of leaf litter. All the plants that we can see are native and thriving here, so this is the perfect environment to collect our soil for our forest tea. So the reason that we've come to this really specific location of native undisturbed forest is because it has got a really well established microbiology within the soil. So we are collecting those microorganisms, the bacteria and the fungi, to take back and introduce into our soil. Now, we need to make sure that our soil is going to be in a healthy environment for these microbes to thrive. We'll do that with our compost, but this is just going to be that crucial step between the compost breaking down by those microbes and producing the nutrients that the plants need to grow, and it will overall give us a really healthy soil for our plants. So we're just going to go ahead and collect a small sample of soil that we're going to use to inoculate that microbiology into our own beds. We are back home and we're going to make our forest tea. So we've got some of our insect netting. Hopefully this is going to be fine enough. We've got our forest soil and our bucket we're going to make our tea in. We're only going to be using about a cup of the soil because even though it seems like a small amount, there are millions of microbes living in this soil. So that's all it's going to need, and we're going to strain them through our tea bag. We're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. That will soak all of those microbes into the water, and we're going to put down a layer of compost, drench the bed in our forest tea. We're also going to be planting in this bed too. We'll let that brew while we go and sort out a layer of compost. So this is our composting area, and just built this compost bin over here, which we transferred the top layer of our first compost bin that we established about a year ago. So we're just left with this compost here at the bottom, which has been sitting for at least 6 months. So we are going to be using some of our homemade compost on the bed as well, and that is going to provide some really great food for our fungi and bacteria. I'm feeling really happy with this compost. It is super dark and sticky, and it's got a lot of insect life in here, a lot of worms. It's certainly not hot, so those are a lot of good signs. I think this is exactly what we are looking for. We've tried to avoid putting any weeds or seeds into our compost. It is composed of just our household compost food scraps and bits and pieces from around the garden, so you know, stalks and leaves, and yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I'll be sure to make another video. We've got to build a third compost bin, so I will make another video on that and show you guys exactly how we do it. So this is the bed here that we're going to be working on today. We've just recently pulled out the crop that was in here, and across this area here we've noticed a real problem. The soil is just kind of really dry and lifeless, and you can see here with the carrots that there seems to be a zone here that's particularly affected. Down here the carrots did really well, and then just a few meters over they are just not thriving at all. So these carrots, they just didn't grow, there wasn't much germination, and they're really stunted. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of improvements we can make here with this bed. Adding this layer of compost to the bed is going to provide that environment and the food so that the bacteria and the fungi and the nematodes can thrive in this environment. But they're not going to thrive in the compost alone. They also need roots in the soil. So we are going to plant sunflowers in here. Now the sunflowers are going to suit this really well because they are a really hardy plant. The sunflowers are going to provide that structural integrity to the soil. What we've learnt so far in trying to create these beds from scratch, and given that they're less than a year old, it's going to take some time to establish a really healthy soil where there is biological systems in place. And we know that this is so important. Having healthy soil is going to be vital in producing healthy plants. If we want to produce beautiful flowers that are disease resistant, and if we want to produce really sweet vegetables, it all starts from having really healthy soil. These sunflowers that we've just planted not only are going to provide some protection for the soil from the sun, but just like the previous crop, when we're finished with them, we will leave the roots in the ground, which will provide more food for that microbiology in there. We're also giving them a bit of a water with our rainwater supply. It's important that we're using this supply because the tap water has got chemicals in it which, although make the water safe to drink, they will kill that bacteria, and we certainly don't want to do any harm to that microbiology that we've just worked so hard to get into this bed. Well, that's pretty much all for this video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can follow my journey. I've got to go pick some flowers for tomorrow's market. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. So let's get there.
What? Yeah, okay.
Structural integrity to the soil, which is going and yeah. Oh yeah, something else. Yeah. Okay. Again.